What's up? How you doing, beautiful people? This is your host Matthew from Day and Night. That's Marcus over there in San Antonio, Texas.
Hey, how y'all doing? Sunday fun day.
All right, so I just want to first say thank you for everybody that tuned in and so far that has watched the podcast. We really appreciate it. And again, if you didn't subscribe, like and subscribe after you watch this podcast. And even for those that don't like it or whatever, like I said before, if you don't like it, you can do an unlike. A response is better than no response at all. So, all right, so we're gonna get into it.
In a world of envy, analyze as these guys looks to see. They clones to the naked eye, the dynamic dude, no pesticides, they organic, day and nights the podcast. In panoramic in 4K, live streaming on your airwaves, no cliche to downplay, this ain't no child's play. Twin brothers close knit, but ain't a gang, personalities differ, like a yin and a yang, not alike, with certain views, philosophies and principles, inspiring nature's knowledge. Metaphysical, the sun, moons, and stars, mass attraction, affinity, the Big Bang Theory, the energy, infinity. Next we got Marcus, the opposite, laid back, chillin', kick back, laxed in a Cadillac, casinos and blackjack, blues and a side chick, slip, slide, mischievous, surreptitious, no love lost between, they always bonding, they wonders of the world, they monsters, the twin Tompkins, brought on only born, they travel the world stomping at the break of dawn daily. The iron's pumping, I bring you no brothers, about to bring you their life. Look no further, everybody, cause it's day and night.
Today's topic is not as controversial as the last one. It's something that I think everybody at some point during this new generation is experiencing. And so that's online dating versus traditional dating. So I had my perspective on it. I know Mark has his. I'm not going to be like a hypocrite and say I've never done it. I have. I've been on online dating probably after I got divorced, probably for like 6 years, off and on. I've been on and I got off. My personal experience with it has not been good. So that could be why I'm biased towards it. But based off of like some of my beliefs, is why I'm more or less geared not towards it, because I think the whole technology is taken away from us just being more sociable and just more adhering to people. It's like right now we just kind of have attitudes towards people. We don't have the same type of feeling and love like we did when we was growing up. Because you had that interaction opposed to being on your cell phone or the computer. So, because I like to read, I did some research, and based off of the outlet that I checked, which is Pew International American Life. It's a website, and it have information, statistics as far as online dating versus traditional. It has the whole demographic from age, sex, location, and they do research. And they actually found out, based off of the research that they've done, 40 million Americans has visited online dating sites. And this is from the period of 2006 all the way up until now. So they report that about 40 million Americans, at least once a month, that they're on dating sites. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then yeah. And then they also says that 14% of the people that's been on the dating sites that were single has gotten married. And also they says about the most popular form of dating now is actually online dating.
Yeah.
So I don't have an issue with it. To me, it's okay if you actually you go online, you find somebody, you call this one person up, you talk to them, and if it works out, you go out on a date or what have you. I don't have any issues with that. My issues is when people are like picking 5 or 10 to 15 people at once, and they're entertaining all these people at once, and they're kind of leading them on, saying that, okay, they try to make it feel as though they actually have something or could possibly be something with that person. But on actuality, it isn't, because they're dating multiple people. And like I said, I've done it before, so I don't have an issue with it. My whole thing is, if you're telling somebody, yeah, I'm really into you, I can see us being together for a long period of time, or I can see us being together for a certain period of time, that's when I have issues with it, because then it's like you're misleading the person. And just by misleading the person, you can cause all kind of conflict. You can cause that person to not trust anybody, because here it is, this person, they lied to them, and then that put them in a certain mindset, and then they treat the next person a shitty kind of way because of that experience. So I think it's like a trickle down effect. So that's my piece on that.
All right, well, we got an hour, right? So I'm gonna dig into this, and I know it's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna give me pushback on this, but my point of view is probably totally different from yours. There's gonna be a lot of disagreements, but all I'm gonna say, everybody, is hear me out, and I'm not expecting nobody to agree with this. This is just my own personal opinion. It may sound crazy, but I mean, you really think about it, it might make a little sense at the end of the road, but it's going to make some sense to some people or not. I get that. So this is my take on it now. Just like you, Matt, I've been on it a little bit, not as long. You know, I was in a relationship 4 years. I've been off and on before, you know, in and out of relationships. I tested the waters to see how this would be. So the thing I feel about the online dating, for one, I get it. I understand why it's more of a convenience nowadays, right? Because everybody got a busy life. We don't get out as much. So it's an outlet that makes it easier to just interact and reach out to more people through online, because you don't have to go out as like we used to do and meet people at, say, a club or a bar or even a grocery store or whatever. You know, even though when I say it's like an interview, I feel like the negative part online dating is because you don't get to see the person. So you kind of build yourself up in a way to where it makes yourself more invitable. And then when people see that, it makes it easier for them to respond. And then people put the best pictures up there, which is nothing wrong with that. You don't want no crazy looking picture on there. But I believe we're going to do our best to make people more invitable. So you're going to put your ideal profile picture on there. You're going to say a lot of stuff. So when people look at that, it's easier for you to go, oh, let me respond to that person. And then you wind up meeting them, what we all call catfish. They're not what you thought they were, because either they put 10-year-old pictures up there, or the story they told you, a little profile, is nothing about or how they are when you actually meet them. So that's the downside I don't like about online dating, because I have met some in the past where their profile pictures was immaculate, gorgeous, beautiful. Everything they said about them was like perfect. So I'm like, damn, she's the one. And then when we met and went out, for one, she didn't look like the pictures that she said. And then two, everything that she said in the profile was totally opposite of what she said she was. So I was like, well, how you say you was like this, and now you acting that way? So this is where I kind of don't agree with online dating, because again, it kind of gives people an easier way to build themselves up. And I'm not saying people won't be lying, but we all sometimes stretch the truth. Again, you want to be invitable. You want that person to kind of like you or like your profile. So they're going to reach out to you. And then when you meet them, that's where the problem comes, where it's like, you're nothing like your profile. So what happens? So that right there is going to start off the wrong foot, just for a simple fact. You presented yourself different on your profile versus when you actually meet them. So I'm not saying that everybody's like that, but it is some cases where you would have that problem. So that's the negative part of it. But the positive part, again, you do get to meet some people where they legit, they say they are who they are on their profile. And I actually know 2 people that literally got together and got married from meeting on that dating site. So it has this good and bad. That's anything in life. You're going to have the good and the bad. I think overall, online dating it works, but you got to really be careful, because like I said, it's a lot of people out there that catfish, and you would think, why the hell would somebody do that? Because you're going to meet them eventually. So why would you even put a fake picture up there? But again, it's to try to, try to draw you in to make you really want to be interested in that person. When you meet them, it's just like, oh, well, that was a picture from years ago. So what I did is I always make sure when I meet them, after contacting them, they send me a current picture. just to make sure that, you know, it's up and up, you know, because I've seen that in the past. So, I mean, that's how I feel about that. I'm gonna let you speak again, and I'm gonna go a little bit more deeper into it. But what else you
Okay.
got to say on that?
Uh, I don't
That's
know.
it?
No, that's not it.
Okay.
I don't want to go like too far overboard with it. I know we in the 21st century, you know, time
Right.
moves on and we
Right.
gotta like kind of go with the flow.
Uh-huh.
But it's just something about the originality of actually meeting somebody going
Yeah.
out.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I was married for 16 years before I got divorced.
Right.
So how I met my ex-wife was actually, you know, I was leaving the club and I was
Mhm.
with one of my friends and he was talking to her friend. So I just wound up talking to her
Right.
and that's how we met and so forth.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's something more original about meeting somebody in person.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
heard that same excuse, and I call it an excuse because I can't fathom that idea. A lot of women that I used to talk to before, and I was always curious. I'm like, so why are you online? You seem like you got yourself together, you're
Right.
educated, you got a good job. And that was the reason why. Well, because I work so much, you know, by the time I get home, I don't really go out that much. So it's easy for me to meet somebody online. So
Mhm.
I'm like, so you trying to tell me you get up, go to work, leave from work and go straight home.
Right.
So you never go out to the store anywhere. You never
Mhm.
do anything on the weekend.
Right.
Yeah, just out and about mingling.
Uh-huh.
So it's just hard for me to fathom that for every single day of your life that you never had an opportunity to meet somebody.
Right.
So I just think it's easier and it's more convenient, just as the things that you said, because
Mhm.
you can be someone else, so to speak.
Right.
It's easier to say and type things opposed to actually meeting somebody
Right.
and being
Yeah.
upfront and being
Right.
transparent.
Yeah.
So I think that's one reason why people do it, and it's an easier choice
Right.
or a bigger selection, I should say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Exactly.
I would say it's like a kid in a candy store,
Mhm.
and I just find as though people aren't as genuine. The ones that's dating online, it's just more
Right.
so like a dating game.
Right.
You know, I find somebody, I kick it with them for a while. Okay, I'm tired of them. I'll go to
Mhm.
somebody else. So
Right.
it just to me, it don't seem as genuine as
Mhm.
meeting somebody in person because you have to really be
Right.
transparent and you got to be honest. Whereas online, you can say and be whoever you want to be.
Right. Yeah. So that we agree on. That was what I'm saying. That's the picture that I was painting. Is it's easy to kind of build yourself up to where you're
Right.
more likable. Not saying again, not everybody, but it is few because I came across a few where what they say on the profile is totally the opposite. Like for one
Right.
example, big on communication. So
Right.
one of the ladies on there said the same thing that I said is I'm big on communicating. When I text you, I'm not saying you got to respond within 5 minutes, like right away. But at some point, if you got the text and it shows that I seen you got it, then why not respond back? Just say,
Right.
hey, I got your text. I'm busy. How you doing? Whatever. But the thing is, she put in her profile, she's big on communicating. I can't deal with nobody that don't want to communicate, don't want to talk on the phone or this and that. And then when we actually got to that point where we exchanged numbers, she did the total opposite where, again, she never responded back. She took 2 days later. I'm like, really? What was you doing for 2 days that you couldn't respond back? So that's
Right.
one of the things that really bothers me again about the profile is where people put on there what they are. And then again, when they meet you, they totally different. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. Okay, because you were saying about building that you meet people and you get that right away, that feel. Now,
Right.
with the way it is nowadays, do you think maybe because I'm not saying everybody's crazy, but everybody's stressed, the world is different, a lot going on. Maybe people just don't feel as comfortable to approach a person the way they used to, because you know how people look at a certain person and say, "Oh, he looks mean. He wouldn't even talk to me," or "She looks mean. She wouldn't give me the time of day." So maybe that's a reason. Again, like you said, it's easier online because you don't have to meet them one on one and break that ice. You can just do it online, and you back and forth with each other. and you never even have to really communicate by looking at them. So my question is, when I'm asking you, do you feel though that's somewhat the reason why a lot of people don't interact nowadays? Because just the way it is, a lot of people have issues. A lot of people aren't as approachable as they used to be. So maybe that's one reason why you don't get that as much. You know what I mean? Like if you see a pretty lady and you like, ah, she's gorgeous, but man, I don't want to talk to her. She probably have a dude. So it's easy to look online, that same woman, so you ain't got to walk up to her. So you just type in some stuff because it's easier to break that ice. You know, does I get what I'm saying? So do you feel like in this day and era is a little easier? Because again, not everybody's as approachable as they used to be back in the day. Like we can walk up to somebody and approach them, it won't be as hard.
Yeah,
You know?
I think you answered my question for me.
Yeah.
I believe that is the reason why. It's because that convenience is there. Whereas if that convenience is not there, then you have to. And I guess, so to speak, only the brave will actually be able to do that. You know, the ones that's confident within themselves and not afraid of rejection. So they'll do that. They'll walk up to a woman and approach her. But that's exactly my point. I feel as though that's what has handcuffed us or handicapped us, because everything is convenient now. So it takes away from you sitting on the bus and you looking at her like, man, she gorgeous. Like you said, she gorgeous. But that same woman can be online and you see her, but because you don't have to worry about that rejection, opposed her just like saying no thank you, not answering your response, trying to get in contact with her.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, that's taking away that skill of being that. So that's why I'm saying it's going down a bad path, in my opinion, because that convenience is taking away that ability to actually, you know, have confidence to go up and be more approachable, not be approachable, but to approach somebody and be more interacting with people, because it's not, okay, well, I just go online. I can, you know, talk to somebody online. I can chat with my friends online. And I just think that's it's making things worse than better, which is crazy because, like I said, it says 40 million Americans and about 15% of them actually got married. And this is another interesting thing that I found out when I was doing that reading, is they were saying that a lot of people believe that self-disclosure is more online than it is in person. So just like to your point where you were saying that it's easier to talk to somebody online, and I just find it mind-boggling that it's easier to be self-disclosing, telling you who you are, telling a person who you are, what you like, what you don't like. You just went off.
Yeah, it's because I told you this internet is keep rebuffering and it's going off. It's been doing that all weekend. So again, I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. I just gotta hope and pray that it lasts long through the whole hour. But I was hearing you. You just couldn't hear or see me. But I heard what you were saying.
Okay.
So I mean,
you said you.
No, go ahead.
You said you had something deeper to get into about that?
Because I was gonna, this is what I was gonna ask you. I just want your opinion on this, okay? And I want people that's checking this out to please subscribe and give me your input as well. Now, this is one thing that I noticed, because like I was saying earlier about, you were saying earlier, kind of replied to what you were saying about you don't agree with dating or meeting multiple people at the same time. So this is where the nitty gritty gonna get in, where it's gonna get a lot of kickback. So I was talking to a lady friend of mine. She spoke on the same way you did about she don't appreciate when she meets somebody and he has 3-4 women that he's talking to at the same time. And you can't focus on one person if you got 4 or 5 different people that you're trying to entertain. If you're gonna give all that energy, give it to that one, that way you could truly learn that person. Now, this is where I agree. Okay, I'm not saying that doesn't, or it is true. I agree with everything both of y'all are saying. A lot of my friends said that, but this is where I'm gonna throw the monkey wrench in. Now, one thing I was telling her that I noticed on these profiles is where I can say people are misleading, is it would say, I'm looking for a relationship, or they say friendship, casual dating, and long-term relationship. And this is what I asked her the other day. I said, so you tell me, because I'm a guy, so of course I'm dating women. So I said, why do women put that on there? So explain to me how you want all three of them at the same time. You want friends, but you also want casual dating, but then you want long term. So I asked her, how do you do all that? How can you want a guy that you want one-on-one? You want him to be your friend, but then you want a casual date, but then you want long term. So
I
the
know
reason
what
why I
that
said that
is.
don't make sense, huh?
I know
The
why they
reason
do
why I
that.
said that don't make sense is because what is casual dating? And this is where her and I got into it, is because I told her, I said, I have that on my profile. And I got a lot of pushback, and they thinking that that means I'm sleeping with everybody. And I said, that doesn't mean I'm sleeping with all these women. I said, by definition, casual dating is you meet someone, you go out, you have good company with each other. Everybody wants the companionship at some point. Even if you're busy, you still would like to go out with the opposite sex and enjoy that companion with each other. So you go out a few times, y'all go to a movie, have dinner, whatever. There's no expectations on it. Y'all just dating. Y'all already acknowledge to each other. We ain't trying to get a relationship, because remember, in the beginning, you say you want friends first. So if you do that, why is that not casual dating? So my point is, what is definition? Is everybody's definitions different? Because casual dating, to me, that's what casual dating is. It doesn't mean you have to sleep with everybody. That means you go out on a few dates, no expectation, you're just enjoying each other's company. And if it progressed, then it goes to that point. And then that's what she was like, well, again, casual dating shouldn't mean you should go with 3-4 people. So that's what I told her. Now, this is where a lot of people are going to laugh at me. I like to use a lot of analogies, right? And I told you this before, a long time ago. We had this conversation years ago. And I hate to use material stuff. Just follow me on the concept. Now, if you go on to purchase a house, do you look at that one house and you buy it right away because you fell in love with it? It's everything you dreamed of. The floors is right. Everything is perfect. And then you get the house and you realize, damn, this is just not the house I really wanted. I thought it was, but then you don't put no effort into it. You don't take care of it because it's not really the house you wanted, but you got it. Now, the part two of that question is, or do you go and select few houses and look and judge to see which one is the one that would be ideal for you? Because you go off your first instinct, that impulse. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. Well, let's say you're going to buy a car. Do you drive the first car you test drive, and that's the car, I love the way it drives, the way it handles, and then you go and a week later, a month later, oh, I don't like it. And again, you don't give it that tender love and care because you realize that's not the car. Well, if you go out and you're buying something, when we go grocery shopping or whatever, anything you do across the board, most of the time we want choice. The point I'm trying to make is we want choice, variety. You want to be able to make the right choice. So I know it's a little different in dating because you're dealing with personalities, you're dealing with attitude, all that, I get it. But the concept to me is, if I make that first choice, so let's say I go out with this lady and we good in the beginning, the first 2 months, what I call the honeymoon phase, is good. Then the second month, third month is all you learn about the person. Everything that you thought was good and dandy, it hits the wall. Now you're like, damn. So you get rid of that person, you move on to the next. Same scenario. Everything is perfect. Whatever reason don't work out, then you go on to the next. So the pattern I'm trying to build here is that so much different from dating? Of course it's different. But what I'm saying is it not going through the same process? It's a different avenue, but you're going through the same process because you're still dealing with a person. Now, when you deal with that one person, you build up, let's say it ended on a bad note, you build up with animosity. So now you're gonna go into the next relationship kind of tainted because of the previous. And then that one don't work. Now you tainted from that one and you go to the next one. Now you're bringing all that luggage with you. And I know nobody should judge everybody as the past individual, but we all do some kind of way. Let's everybody be honest, not say literally you're gonna point them out and say, hey, you just like so-and-so, but you're going to look at situations like, oh shit, here we go again. So at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to make is, when I say I can casual date with women and I say maybe 3 women that I'm seeing, doesn't mean that I'm sleeping with all of them. It just means that, okay, this one I can have fun with, meaning spending time, not sexually, okay? Then the next one could just be conversation on the phone. We never even meet up. So it's like, yeah, she's cool, but we never interacted. So I'm at some point gonna let her fade away because she's not making the time for me, where the other one's showing more interest. So now I'll kind of eliminate one. Now I know that sounds bad, but sometimes, it may be beneficial because you don't make that wrong choice because you choose the one and just run with it, which again, is nothing wrong with that. I'm the same way. I just have a little different approach.
Okay,
I know
that was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack. I know.
Okay, let me reach back. My CRS is kicking my ass right now. But
big ass drink, but
yeah. No, okay, the first thing that's still fresh is the analogy with the house thing. I get what you're saying, and the whole, like I said, I don't argue the point that talking to several people is a bad thing. But the difference is what you go on looking at several houses is those houses can't catch feelings. So they have no emotion. So with the person, now this is the key. I'm gonna get kind of technical. Now we all have this chemical called oxytocin. So that's basically a hormone that's triggered from the brain. And when you feel a certain type of way, that gives you, they call it the love hormone. So that gives you that attraction and that feeling. So you dating these people, multiple people at once. And let's say, for example, you dating 5. 3 out of the 5, they seriously start to get an attraction with you. Not only is the oxytocin kicking in, then the dopamine. So now you got these chemical natural reactions that we all have as human beings is taking place. And the only thing you doing is just like having fun because you said, well, I enjoyed what this one does. I enjoy what that one does. So that's more fun for you. Whereas for these two, they're really feeling you and they want to possibly have a relationship. So then you meet somebody and that's the one you click with. And then you tell these other 2 or other 3, like, you know what, I appreciate it. We had a good time, but I'm going to move forward with someone else. We can still be friends. Then you just broke their heart and you just wasted their time. So that's why, for me, it's an issue to do that. Like for me, and I had a conversation with somebody about this. Now, the whole dating thing, some people think when you're in a relationship, that's still considered dating. For me, dating is, okay, I'll call up Tanisha. Hey, Tanisha, what are you doing this weekend? Nothing. You want to go out Friday? Cool, let's go out Friday. So we go out, hang out. Okay, cool, had a good time. Then Shanika, I'll call her next week. Hey, you want to go out? And I go out with her. And then say, you know what? I kind of enjoyed that. Then I call them 2 back and I continue to do this for over 3, 4, 5 months. To me, that's moving out of dating into the beginning parts of a relationship. To me, dating is, hey, Shanika, let's go to the movies Friday. Okay, cool. We go. All right, I enjoyed it. And that's it. Never talk to her again. Maybe 5, 6, 7. That's dating to me. But when you're doing it for multiple months and you're disclosing information about yourself and your family, that's a relationship. Whether it's a romantic relationship, it's still a relationship. And to me, that's where you're causing problems. And that's why I disagree with doing that. To me, now that I'm older and mature, I'm focusing on one person. And if it doesn't work out with that person, then, oh, well, I'm going to move on to the next one. Or, be single for X amount of time. But I'm not going to date multiple people and talk to multiple people at once and not allow that one person to prove who they are and to see where that relationship can go. So that's how I feel about that. But this is the other side of, this is my other opinion with the whole dating thing. I mean, the online. This is probably wrong to say, but sometimes I feel as though it's a certain type of people that only date online. I think they're different and separate from people that actually meet the traditional way and date that way. I feel as though people that's online, more so women, they're more the introverted ones. They're not the extroverted ones, so they might have some psychological issues with past relationships and so forth.
Right.
And so they're kind of like scarred. So now it's easier for them to go online opposed to being out in, in public or whatever and meeting somebody.
Right.
Now I'm just speaking from my experience. I don't know if I told you that story, but I was in Virginia, met this sister online. She was from Philly. So I'm like, oh, cool. We got a sister from Philly, boy. We should be had a lot to talk about. So I met her. We went out to eat. And at that time, I was heavily, in the church and stuff like that. And I was professing to be a man of God. And I was telling her these things. So she's just looking at me and she's looking into my eyes. And she's like, oh my God, you have some beautiful eyes. And I was like, thank you. And she's like, I bet you all the women tell you that. I was like, no. She's like, yeah, you do. You be trying to hypnotize them with your eyes. And I was like, oh, actually, I don't. So make a long story short, I thought we had a pretty good conversation. So I'm on my way back home. I get a phone call. This is her. Hey, you're not gonna believe this. I said, what happened? I messed up and I left my purse at the restaurant. When I went back, it was gone. So can you loan me $25? I was like, I'm sorry, pretty, but I only brought what I had for lunch. I don't have any money on me. Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have it. She's like, for real? I was like, yeah. She said, are you serious? You gonna lie to me? I said, I'm not lying to you. I don't have it. Yes, you do. You just sat there in front of me and you told me you a man of God and you gonna sit there and lie to me and say you don't have $25 and you know you do? I was like, I don't know what's wrong, but trust me, if I had it, I would give it to you, but I honestly don't have it. So then she was like, that's all right. I know you in the military and I know where your ex-wife live at and I'm gonna call her. I'm gonna call your chain of command. Just went all the way left with it. So for about a week, she just kept harassing me, calling me. I'm going to your unit. I'm going to tell them what you're doing. And at that time, Kiara was in the pageantry. She was doing a pageant. So I know your daughter's doing this pageant, and we all going to be there together. And I'm like, at this time, I'm just freaked out. Like, wow, this joker's about to get me hemmed up. She's going to call my chain of command. And I was literally scared. And then she finally called, like the day of the competition. Hey, I was just fucking with you. I really wasn't going to do that. I really wasn't going to do that. But I did that because you don't lie to people and tell them you don't have money. You know you have it. So the whole point I'm trying to make is that's one of the dangers. I got other stories too. That's just one of the dangers of online dating.
Oh,
and that's the type of people I think they gravitate to that. I mean, it is a select few. I agree with that on that aspect. But it's just like I said though, it's a convenience nowadays, and we already spoke on that. But the other thing I was going to say, like online dating, where it's good is because I guess you can build up that trust. Because I had a lady tell me this actually. She told me, and this is what I thought was funny. She said, I don't give out my number until I get comfortable with getting to know you. And I'm sitting here like, what would be the difference that we're on the phone and talking online? We still doing the same thing. She's like, I just need to learn to trust you through the internet before I get on the phone. So I was just like, okay. So I just 86 that one. That was just right there. That was just different. I get some people was like that because I met a few, but I'm like, if we're going to communicate, I'm not going to be getting online all the time where it'd be easier and convenient to get the number and exchange so that way we can via text easier over the phone. So the point I'm trying to make is to go backwards a little bit. When you're online, you have that luxury of choosing, and this is where I fall back on choices. Even though you may, again, talk to the person, they seem like everything is good until you go out with them, like you were saying with your story, and then she showed that. If the person, to me, honestly, act a little suspect, where online you can go, it was nice talking to you, good luck with your search, but I'm gonna move on. So that way you can eliminate and go on to the next one. So it's a catch-22, in other words. You're gonna take that chance. Again, people can only tell you what they want you to know. And they can give off that impression like they the perfect goody good person, and they meet them and they are, cuckoo crazy. So I just believe that you have to really look at certain things to say that, I ain't gonna take that chance, because I've done that. It was certain women
where I met and it was just too much, or I'm not always on here, but you always on here talking to other people. So why are you telling me not always on here? So I 86 her. So I think that's where it's a little easier from online. Because again, if you meet the person in public, and again, I love that approach. I agree with that old school way, but when you meet the person in person, even though you get that feel, that initial vibe, that connection, they can still turn out to be kind of a little off the wagon. And then you got to go through the whole process again. But online, at least you can kind of police it a little bit by getting to know them, interacting over the, the internet at some point with the number before you even actually meet up with them. So I think that's the plus with nowadays, because nowadays, again, people are busy. So I know you said that's an excuse. I work 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week. And I met a lady and told me straight up, you too busy for me. And she got mad because I didn't have time. And she's like, you say you always working, but how do I know that? And I never met a guy that works that much and never had time to call. So she was trying to call me out, trying to tell me pretty much that I was lying to her. And I'm messing around, running around, dating all these women. So I told her, I said, well, you had a choice to talk to me or not. I'm not going to sit here and make it up. I work a lot. So if you know that, then you know that I'm not the guy for you. So the point I'm trying to make is that's the good thing about it, is if the person being straight up and they tell you everything and you choose to go forward, then that's going to be on you, because you feel like, oh, I might change this person's mind, or he just saying that, or she just saying that. So now you're going to take that chance to go forward, because I've done that with a few women where I was just like, nah, I'm gonna pass, because what you saying just, I'm not saying like I'm perfect. I'm just saying I'm looking at the little signs, and some women think that I'm too picky because of that. I said, it's not that I'm picky. I'm just not going to take this time to waste my time on you if it's not going to be worthy. So that's where I feel like if you really pay attention and do like you're supposed to, you can kind of weed out the ones that's online that's not serious and ones that are serious. And again, it's going to be hard to tell. I get that. But at least you have that option to kind of judge, and see, because this person for real or not, because what they saying don't make no sense. It don't add up. So that's where I kind of like the online, because it gives me more of opportunity to sit back and be like, do I even want to meet this person yet? You know what I mean? So.
Okay, there's two things I want to touch on. Right. Okay, so if you're working, not you, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
If somebody's working that much, then why are you online looking for somebody? Because you don't have time. Yeah. So yeah. But going way back when you was talking about how women would put on their profile, casual dating, looking for a specific, looking for a husband or whatever.
Right.
I think they do that. Yeah, they do that to cover all avenues. So it's basically marketing, so to speak, for that person. If that person's looking for a relationship long term, then they're going to see that. If that person is looking just for casual, that person will see that. So it's like they're covering all their bases, opposed to just, if you just put long-term relationship and you have somebody on there that's just looking for casual, they're never even going to reply to you. Right. But if you cover all three, then you're basically advertising to everybody and you'll get more hits that way. And it's funny because when I first got online, this is back when I was in Virginia, and I used to put casual dating, because like I said, casual dating to me was just go out with that person one week, you go out with the next one. But this one, she was like, do you know what that means? I was like, what? She's like, casual dating. I said, yeah, I'm just dating.
Yeah.
She was like, no, that means you just hooking up and that's all.
Right, exactly.
I said, seriously? She was like, yeah. So if you put that on there, women will look at that and be like, yeah, this dude's not serious. So I actually did that. I just put casual dating, and most of the people that did hit me up, that's the only thing they was looking for.
Right.
So I think that's why I'm saying, like, to me, there's an imbalance, because you have some people that may be on there, just as the stat says, like 15% have actually gotten relationships and went on and get married. But you still have to navigate through the ones that's on there just for play. And that's what I'm just saying. Like, when you meet somebody in person, you'll know instantly, like your energy, your intuition is going to tell you.
Right.
But when you go online, that person can play and say and be whoever they
Oh
want to
yeah.
be.
Right.
So you'll never know until you actually meet that person. And I
Mhm.
actually had this. I had one lady. We talked for about maybe a month or so. And when we
Mhm.
met in person, and
Right.
this is probably one of the one females that I probably had a lot of respect for, because when she met me at the restaurant, she looked at me and said, "You know what? I appreciate you coming out. No disrespect, but I'm not feeling the energy. Is not the same. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to
Right.
waste your time, and so I'm
Yeah.
just going to leave. Thank you for inviting me
Right.
out." And she left.
Right.
If more people was like that, then I wouldn't have an issue with it. But my
Yeah.
point is, we went through that whole thing and we was vibing online.
Right.
But as soon as we met, whatever it was, I don't know if I didn't look the same to her or whatever, but
Yeah.
she just was like, yeah, the energy is not there.
Yeah. Yeah. I've gotten that too. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's always going to be a downside to it. And I mean, I
Right.
agree. That's the thing we're going to both agree on. I think most people will agree that actual initial meeting each other, you get that right away. You can vibe. You already know. You get to see their reaction, their facial expression. So you get more of a feel for the person. So that I get, like 100. I get that. The meeting online, that's where smoke screens everything, because everything is easier because you're sitting there typing, and like you said, now you actually in front of each other, so you feeling the energy, and it's not the same when you're online. So that
Right.
I agree with. I guess I'm just on here. What I was saying was to go backwards a little bit when you were saying about the point about when you said what did you say? You just said about, damn, I'm losing my thought. I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
That
When I made the
CRS.
comment, huh? Yeah, CRS, right. No, when you came back, when I made the comment about working too much, and you said, well, why would you be on there? It's
Right.
because I think it's put it on there to eventually meet someone. And I always tell everybody that I meet up front that, my schedule, how I work. So again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself. So it gives that person the opportunity to say, no, you ain't the one. So why would you acknowledge that and go forward? Even though if I'm on there or not, you still got the information. So why would you choose a person that works a lot? You know what I mean? So that's where I'm like,
Right.
that's where people kind of do it to themselves. Because if you know what the person told you and they tell you that, but you still go to pursue it, is it really his fault at that point? Or is it yours for thinking that it was going to be something different, even though I shouldn't be on there? Because I had a woman literally told me that. Well, why the hell are you on here if you always working? That don't make no sense. I don't understand you. And I told her, I said, well, because I do like companionship. Again, I don't go out to clubs. I don't go out. So I said, this is an easy way for me to meet. And at some point, if I tell you that and you understand that, then we can go and hang out when we can. Because I actually met women with the same situation where they'll put on their profile, don't expect me to be giving you attention all the time. I'm a busy lady. I'm got my own business. So I will I'll hang out with you when I can. So for me, I was like, oh, we perfect. Because we both on that same level to where we don't have that expectation to be around each other a lot. It's like, you got a day off, I got a day off, good, let's make it work. So that's why, to answer that, that's why I do that. Because I'm glad you said that and you called me out, because I had a woman actually call me out on that. But to go backwards again, to kind of respond to when you said about, it's like what did the correct word you said when it was all three of them? And you said that's why they put it on there, the casual, long term, and friendship.
Right.
And what did you say? What was your reason for that again?
I
Forgot
forgot.
But anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is what you said, I get it. But to kind of devil's advocate again, so and you said it yourself. A woman told me the same thing, that casual means that's usually you want to sleep with each other. So if you want to cover all bases, that's what you said. So if you put on there friendship, casual, and long term, that means you want to be sexual with all these people. So why would you put that on there? And this is the reason I'm giving you an example. I met a woman that said that to me. Oh, you casual, so you just want to have sex. Because she schooled me on that. And I said,
Right.
well, I didn't know that's what it meant. And I gave her a definition of what I thought was casual. So she said, well, you need to take that off because you're giving the wrong impression because you say you want a long-term relationship and then you say you're looking for friendship. So she the one that called me when I put all three on there, right? So that's what I told her. I said, well, at some point I want to build into a long-term, but I want a casual date to get to see if I'm gonna build up to that. So I'm just throwing that at you because I've done that with cover all bases because I was thinking that same thing. And then that's weird. Not saying everybody's like that, but this one lady called me out because she's like, well, why are you going to put casual if you want long term? So she made it look like I was a player because she said, you trying to play with people because you're trying to make it seem like you really want a relationship and you want a friendship, but you want to be casual. So make up your mind. So that's when I just took casual off because I was like, it's too much pushback. And I got tired of defending myself because I'm like, I'm new to this dating online thing. So I was like, I didn't know it was going to cause that much of conversation. So I just took it off. So now, if you look at it, it's friendship and long term. And that's it. Because the casual thing just caused too many issues. You know what I mean? So,
okay. So let me ask you this. Do you believe the whole, not only online dating, but just like social media in itself, do you think it's making people less sociable?
Very much so, yeah.
Okay. So now this is another thing I want you to look at.
Yeah.
Like the next up and coming form of dating is the metaverse. So I don't know if you saw that series on Netflix called Black Mirror.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. There was an episode on there with Malcolm Mackey, and basically they was playing video games in the metaverse. And his best friend, when they got into the metaverse, Malcolm Mackey was the Asian guy, and his best friend was a female. So they doing their fight and stuff like that. And there was a scene where she actually kicks him and falls on top of him. In the actual game, in the metaverse, they had an attraction for each other. And they actually wound up screwing.
Wait a minute, I did see that. I didn't know that's what it was called, though. Black Mirror, yeah.
Yeah. So
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the next that's the next up and coming thing. Like people are actually going to the metaverse to date. So now it's getting to the point people gonna be so far gone and out of touch that nobody's gonna say nothing. They're gonna walk right past you and like, shoot, I'm going to the metaverse and meet somebody.
Right. Yeah.
Do what they got to do over there. Right. And then it's gonna be like robots just walking past each other, no interaction.
Right.
So that's why I just believe that the online thing is kind of dangerous, especially now with the metaverse where it is, how it's up and coming. Right. And I think it's taken away from that natural human reaction and how we exist.
Yeah, that aspect, yes, it will, definitely. Yeah. But it is crazy. I mean, it's different. I definitely would say that this last year, meeting different interesting people, women, and I learned a lot on there. So I'm kind of on both. And I know, again, we already spoke on that. I agree with you on that. So we both agree where traditional is the ideal way. I know it's kind of lost art, but I see the benefits online, which is very few, but I still feel like it's good. So I weigh it as a 50-50. You're taking your chances either way nowadays. But if it go backwards, I would go back to meeting someone in the store, or even your coworker, or in the library. I know that's kind of way back. Nobody can do that anymore. Right. But that's kind of that's a good way to get that feel for a person. Yeah. But one long thing, I met some good women on there, So that's why I know it is some out there that's legit, and they are who they say they are, as they put on their profile. So, but it's tricky. Like you said, it is dangerous. You got to really be cautious on how you approach it, is the way I look at it. You got to really be careful because it's some fake ones out there. That's what they're absolutely. Yeah. You know what I mean?
All right. So with that, I guess I'm going to be in closing. I think to basically just to tie it up and put it in a nice little bow is that it's all about balance. That's what our logo is balance, yin and yang. Right. As long as there's a balance between the two, and you're taking that person's feelings and emotions in account and be respectful, then it's nothing wrong with it. We just got to stay in touch, in tune with the natural human part of us, and not allow technology to take over. So with that being said, beautiful people, we thank y'all again for tuning in.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe. This should be airing on Wednesday. You can view it anytime you want after that. And please tune in next week. Next week, we're actually going to have guests. And the guest is going to be 2 entrepreneurs here in the Atlanta area that's massage therapists. So we're going to touch on the importance of massage, why the Black community looks at it in a different or negative light, so to speak, and why we don't actually pursue it, because it's not all about just relaxation. It's actually a form of healing as well. So they're going to have great information. I'm telling you, don't miss it. So again, tune in, and we thank you. We love y'all. So until next week, this is going to be my motto. A thought becomes a belief, and a belief becomes a manifestation. So manifest beauty, manifest love, and manifest what it is that you want. All right, until next week.
All right. I'll see y'all guys next week. Thank you for joining.
They wonders of the world, they monsters, the twin Tompkins, brought out only on, they travel the world stopping at the break of dawn daily, the iron's pumping, I bring you no brothers, about to bring you their life, look no further, everybody cause it's day and night. Let's go!